All right, lots of energy. I was hot. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Morning Buzz. Let's hear it. I'm Adam Eisen, the membership director of the One Club for Creativity, and your host. And yes, I have knees. I'm so glad that you're here in person or online watching this back later today because you couldn't be bothered to get up early. Whatever your situation is, we've got an amazing episode for you today. It's day 3 of Creative Week, and my team and I are still going strong. Aren't we, team? Yes! Last night we celebrated the TDC winners, and I just want to say that the exhibition is really beautiful. If you do have time this week to make it up and check it out, I hope that you will. It then gets packed up on Friday to travel all around the world, so please, if you have a chance, go and check that out. And later tonight we have the 102nd ADC Awards. Let's hear it for 102 years of the ADC. But back to me, and right now, Morning Buzz is our program dedicated to our inspiring membership community here at the One Club. One of my favorite things about this job is that I get to interact with all types of creatives and share their stories and their work with you. Today, we'll have 3 trailblazing ad creatives discussing AI, a design duo sharing about the excitement and challenges of running a creative business, and I'll chat with a photographer and maker whose sense of play and exploration is evident in his work. I'm pumped. Are you pumped? Awesome. So for our first segment, and if I had a nickel for every agency that spoke to me about wanting to talk about AI, I could retire. And I'm like, I'm going to wait for the right people to do it, and we have the right people to do it tonight. It's the morning. I don't know. All sense of time is lost at this point. I have the privilege of moderating 3 industry titans who are at the forefront of emerging tech and creativity. I do have a disclaimer. As I bring these folks on stage, I'm going to read a very short bio about each so that we can get to the good stuff. But if you're not familiar with any of them, I hope you'll go and check them out, because all 3 are incredible and have such a robust background and super inspiring stories, so please go check them out. All right, so with that said, I'm excited to welcome to the stage PJ Pereira. PJ is an industry veteran of over 20 years, known for co-founding independent award-winning creative agency Pereira Odell. In 2023, PJ was also named Chief Creative Officer of independent agency network Service Plan Americas. He's also a pioneer in the marketing world, sitting at the intersection of tech, entertainment, and advertising. His credentials have made him one of the industry's most influential and respected creatives. He's been named to Adweek's Creative 100, Ad Age's Creative 50, 4A's 100 People Who Make Advertising Great, and most recently was named Adweek's AI Champion of the Year for championing the ethical progression of AI in the advertising industry. PJ is passionate about the convergence of AI and creativity, which led him to co-found Silverside, an AI innovation and incubation lab that brings together AI startups and the world's leading brands to solve creative problems using AI. Outside of his work in advertising, PJ is a novelist of 12 years and a martial artist with multiple black belts. In 2023, PJ released a novel called The Girl from Wudang, a novel about artificial intelligence, martial arts, and immortality. Please welcome to the stage, PJ. How are you, PJ?
Very, very good.
Thank you for being. I tried to edit your bio down, but it was very hard, especially in relation to today's topic. So we appreciate you and your knowledge in being here today.
My pleasure.
Awesome. And second, joining us is Sherina Florence. Sherina is a multi-talented creative leader. Her work inspires as she explores the ever-evolving landscape of new media. Sherina has recently created a new line of NFTs and is pushing the possibilities of AI creation by developing emoji prompting into an illustration style. Sherina formerly served as group creative director at 72 and Sunny, where her cultural acumen and culture-first approach helped her garner business wins such as 1-800, Sonos Audio, and Foot Locker. She is passionate about connecting people to big ideas that inspire new ways of thinking about and experiencing the world, solutions that impact both the clients and culture. Sherina. I'm not going to call you by your last name. Sherina is obsessed with digital trends, both casting and creating, including viral moments like Anthony Joshua's Be Heard, Stand Fast featuring Most Def, Tribal DDB's Wheel of Concepts, and most recently with her Find More to Love work on Instagram. Her work has won awards, new business, and even contributed to the release of detainees at Guantanamo Bay. While winning hearts and minds, she has also been recognized by Rolling Stone, Time, Creativity, and a number of global awards, including The One Show. Please welcome Sherina. Hey, Sherina, how are you?
I'm fine, Adam. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. And finally, we have Will McGinness. Will McGinness joined Venable Bell and Partner in 2010 as Paul Venable's creative partner, and in 2015 stepped up his role to lead the creative department. As partner and CCO, Will has played an integral part in the agency's successes and strong momentum and has spearheaded award-winning work for clients including Chipotle, REI, Audi of America, Reebok, and Intel. Under Will's leadership, the agency has earned the Cannes Lions Titanium Grand Prix and the One Show Best in Show for its groundbreaking opt-outside effort for client REI. As well as being named one of Fast Company's most innovative companies, Adweek's Breakthrough Agency of the Year, and an Ad Age Best Places to Work, and A-List Agency. Will came to VB&P after 7 years at Goodby Silverstein and Partners, where he was creative director, associate partner, working across all media as an interdisciplinary creative. Will was a force in the agency's rapid reinvention from traditional model to a more integrated one. During that time, Goodby Silverstein and Partners earned the title of Interactive Agency of the Year at Cannes Festival for its work for clients like Sprint, Doritos, and Nintendo. Please welcome to the stage, Will. So I wasn't kidding when I said I have three incredible people for you. So first, let's focus on what's happening right now in your careers. Can you talk about your current roles and especially how that relates to AI and how you're using that in your roles today?
All right, so I am the one of the founders and the creative chairman of Pereira Odell, but on the side, as you said, I write my books. I'm a novelist. I've been doing that for a while. My last book was about artificial intelligence. So for the last 9 years or so, I started to study it. And for the launch of the book 2 years ago, I started to work with it, experiment with it. And experimentation is a big thing. I think the big theme for today. But as I played with it, it's like, this is going to change the way we do things. So I started to get more people in the agency, convince more people in the agency to do it. And the thing spiraled up so much that we ended up creating a separate company that just does that. That is Silverside. So it's becoming the job.
Yeah, it's who you are. You are a machine. Sherina.
Oh, Adam. So we're talking about today and how
Yes.
we're using AI. I feel like AI has just become this additional appendage, just like an additional tool. When you're concepting or thinking of ideas, you're not really thinking about medium. You're just thinking about an idea. But now you have a tool that supercharges the thought, supercharges the craft. I feel like I'm using it to run through different sketches to figure out which painting concepts I want to lean into. I've designed a full fashion line using AI, which we have to talk about one-on-one. I have developed emoji prompting, so just really pushing against the edges of it, trying to understand what the machine understands from me so that we can develop a shorthand and kind of create in a very quick and exciting way. And then, of course, anytime that you have access to something like ChatGPT, you might as well just use it to help you write and format every script you have and every document that you need to make. Yeah.
Quickly, can you maybe just explain the emoji prompting?
How do I explain emoji prompting? So I guess I find that the best way to work with AI is to just, and the best way to work as a creative is to just have a question in your mind, have something you're wondering about, you want to figure out and explore. So for me, I had just been wondering, can I creative direct the machine via emoji? And what I began to understand as I spoke to AI and emoji was that the order of emoji made a difference, the frequency of emoji made a difference, and through learnings and trial and error learnings, was able to develop an illustration style that was consistent, which I like because then it helps me understand that I could potentially engage a consumer with a brand and give them emojis as a tool to create generative art that become brand assets, right? So,
Super cool.
yeah.
Cool. All right, and Will, talk to us about AI and how that's working into your role.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. AI, I mean, it's only like a year and a half. Generative AI, as we kind of know it and are playing with it, it's only like a year and a half. And to see how much that's already influenced what we do is kind of incredible. And the way it's wired its way into our system. So we're using it, and the comp game has gotten insane. People's ability to articulate and visualize an idea for clients and for ourselves just brings you that much closer to where you start when you go into production, if we still go that route. But so it's influencing how we work, the product that we create. ChatGPT, obviously, like as a resource, is incredibly invaluable. I guess for us, the main thing is we're still, and the thing that I try to bring to the creative department is that we're still very much in experimentation mode. This shit is evolving at such a rapid rate, and it can be overwhelming. I mean, if you look at your Twitter feed, it's like 10 new things that you must know today. Like it's like nonstop. And really, I think the key for us is just to get comfortable with the messiness, to kind of work with one another. We do something called bonfire sessions, where we get together as an agency and talk about some of the new developments, and then have sharebacks where people are like, holy shit, I just like played with this, and this new sound app, and check out what I can do here. Or obviously, like when Generative Fill came out, I was like, look what you can do now. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And so there are things that apply to our day-to-day stuff. And then there's just new kind of evolving kind of technologies that are exciting to play with, and we're not quite sure where they'll go or how we'll use them. But that constant drumbeat and the ability to get together and talk and share back kind of the stories and how people are using that stuff has been really helpful, yeah.
Incredible. So it's interesting that you were all trailblazers back when digital marketing, as that was coming onto the field. Talk to me about some of the comparisons and how you feel now this evolution of AI, and how is it similar? What's different? We'll start with you, Will.
Yeah, I mean it's a good question. There's been, I know a lot of us, we've all talked about it, see the similarities back, and we kind of all started our careers in that space. So it's very similar, and it's completely different too, because AI is such a monster. But I think the main thing is the playbook is being rewritten, and you're in this messy zone of like chaos where we're not quite sure where it's going. The technology is evolving, and so it's that lack of a playbook that is both really interesting and inspiring, but can be a bit crippling too. And so that dynamic, I think, is really interesting. And we've all talked about the fact that like just getting comfortable with that chaos is part of the key. And I think that's similar back to when digital was really evolving and changing. And so I think that's where the similarities are most prevalent, is that kind of lack of a playbook and that messiness and that chaos and the excitement of like, fuck, where is this going to go? So yeah, I think that comparison is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
There's one of the things that I feel like is really fascinating for me is that there's a similarity on those two stages, that we all know that this is going to be big.
Yeah.
We all know that the big brands will want to do it. We all know that they are going to put big money on it. We all know that they're not going to do it until they feel comfortable. And at that point, they're going to go with people that have experience. So there's this gap, these moments in the middle. It happened on digital, it's going to happen again later. So you can take note of that as a prophecy. Yeah. That is, they are the big investments are going to come, and they're going to come, and they're going to go to people who have went ahead and done things before the money was there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a critical thing. It's not a coincidence that everyone here and everyone that has been doing work on the forefront of it has been doing some artistic experiments as well, because that's a way that we can go there. We are in the service business, so we have to work with our clients' needs. But if we have our artistic experiments, our outside experiments, we can actually go and play and learn and develop these things. The reason why we developed Silverside is because we wanted to work with the companies that are in that field, the same way that Razorfish and Organic in the past actually worked with the Silicon Valley startups on the .com world. And I think that's something that we're going to need to figure out as an industry. We're going to need to go ahead before the clients go, because once they walk in, they're only going to go with the ones that have experience.
Yeah. You got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yeah. Sherina, I'll start with you. I would love to hear a bit about, having been at the forefront of digital marketing and now AI, how do you make time for that as a creative, on top of running teams and an agency and there's not that much time. So how are you staying in the know and practiced with these tools?
Well, first of all, I don't agree with you. I think there's loads of time, only because I'm in this very meditated all the way over here kind of state. But yeah, you can make the time, you create the time. And it's one of these things, Adam, where at the beginning of digital, it was just so exciting. Everything was so new and so fresh, and it was kind of, like the pistons were firing, and there was an excitement, and your curiosity was continually sparked, and digital helped provide this sort of creative abrasion that lit this, flint, and so you wanted to make more, you wanted to see more, you wanted to do more, and you realized that you could create more. You could create bigger and better and more interesting and smarter than you had been able to before. It was also more playful, right? The unknown, you can really kind of sandbox things. It's the same with the way that gaming went. And so I think when we talk about AI is so fast. It takes seconds to prompt. You don't need to be at a device to think of your prompt. You potentially are just walking around asking yourself a question, and then you input that question. You don't have to even stay with the machine. I love to input prompts and just leave and come back later and find out what I have received, right? But what's going to happen as soon as you begin to ask yourself questions, you begin to dig in, you begin to creative direct the machine, you're going to begin a dialogue, and that dialogue will become inspiring, right? It's going to light that spark inside of you again. And so you'll make time, you'll find time. It will become just another part of what you do. The same way you find time to check the weather, to check your messages, you will find that same time to go into Midjourney or into Runway, and it'll just be an absolute pleasure. You don't have to force yourself. This is a natural evolution of your creativity.
Any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just love that, because I think Sherina and I have talked about this, and PJ as well, that I've found myself working on this stuff outside of work on the weekends, and it has lit something inside of me, and it is just that inspiration and that ability to create with these new tools. I think getting in there and playing with this stuff, not treating it like this giant homework assignment that I got to catch up on. There's so much stuff on AI, but jumping in and playing with it as a creative, I think it really does light something, and that's the key to really furthering your journey with AI, because it leads to another thing. And what if I brought video to this thing that I created? So having that personal kind of inspiration match lit, I think, is a key thing. Yeah.
And we'll start with you, PJ. I'd love to hear, we have three enthusiasts here. Not everybody feels the same about AI. How would you describe the current atmosphere of the creative community in terms of embracing AI? And what would you say to people who maybe feel still some fear or unsure feelings about using AI?
I understand the fear, because there will be, especially when it relates to jobs, right? There are big societal things that we need to worry about on the ethical side and the political side, but on the jobs in particular, and specifically with the creative industry, I think it's going to make shifts, and people are going to need to change the nature of their jobs. But I think that a lot of, if not most of the concerns happen because they haven't tried and have played with it specifically. I think once you do, you understand that these things are not, these creatures out there are not taking our jobs. They are just they're changing how our jobs are going to be made, and what the notion of creativity may become in the future, and the what a creative job may be. But the jobs are still going to be there. In the end of the day, brands still need to stand out against regular people, and regular people just have very good standards right now. So which makes the creative genius, that makes the creative professionals, the creative discipline that you all have even more important, because the tools are standard now. The ideas and the perspective become more important than they have ever been.
Awesome. Sherina, I really liked your response when we were talking about this the other day. I'd love for you to share more about how do you feel this is going to address, or how would you address people who are feeling fear or uncertainty about AI and its use in the creative?
Yeah, I would love to talk about this, and I'll add a little bit more that we haven't actually even talked about yet. At the end of the day, it's going to be a liberator. If you are someone who has not had access to potentially partners or people to help you push your creativity forward, you may right now be able to get onto something new that no one else is on. The same way education was an equalizer, if we can provide classes and skills to people who come from different avenues of life, who are creative, who have something to bring forward, this could be an opportunity for an army of creators to rise up. If anybody wants to learn anything, I'm happy to give free classes. What we have to do right now, I think, is begin to bring back like our artist core, really become creators again, and allow more access to others. And honestly, I hope some people who are not that creative, who have been hanging on, lose their jobs. I hope that we actually see a revival in our artistic spirit. But one big thing I've been thinking about probably the past 48 hours with the fear. And the fear on the kind of like larger scale, the thing I've been thinking about is that AI represents the human consciousnness, and probably the worst of it. Because everything that we share online, everything that we've input, that's the spirit of AI. That's the information that it's working with. And so then it makes me think maybe it's really time to investigate ourselves at the core, get right with ourselves, make sure that what we are bringing out of ourselves and putting into the machine is training the best of ourselves. It's like we're raising a child together all of a sudden. And when you raise a child, you protect them from the things that you know probably aren't going to be the most helpful to their development. I think it's time that we all become very responsible creators. And I think it's going to require us like really looking inward and dealing with our own cultural conscious and our person to be able to make this go well. Yeah.
There was some really good talk around kind of like what to watch out for, and one, we addressed that towards like agencies and brands, but I think where it got really interesting is thinking more about the regulation needed and how do we even go about that. So Will, I want to kick that off to you to get some thoughts on the topic.
Sure. How do we regulate it? I don't know, because I think you have kind of the leaders in this space all warning us of existential dangers that come with AI. So the danger and the fear is real. This is an incredibly powerful thing that's dropped into humans' laps, and we will do inspiring, amazing things with it. Maybe we'll cure cancer or a host of other diseases, or maybe someone's going to take down our entire infrastructure or destroy the planet. It's like kind of the range of potential outcomes is huge. So the fears are real, and the fact that everyone in this space has a P-doom number and that's not zero is crazy. Like that's the percentage chance that we're literally going to destroy everything. So I get the dangers. I think your question was more around Remind me, sorry.
Around how we, especially as a creative community, go about regulating and
It's tricky. Listen, we're still in this early phase, and the genie's out of the bottle. I don't believe it'll go back in, and it's going to worm into every industry, obviously, in a pretty profound way. But we are at this phase where people are still like, fuck that. You know, like creators and artists have had their work train the algorithms that could potentially displace their job. And so I get and empathize with that sentiment. It's like, what the fuck? What is going on? So there's a lot of like people that are pretty angry about it. And I understand that. So I think we're at this weird moment where it's polarizing, you know, and I think that's something that we have to be cognizant of and aware of. In terms of how we regulate it, I don't know, because you have, you know, these tech leaders saying something needs to be done, we got to regulate this, and then the government can't figure out what social media is. So I don't know how we do it, but something clearly should be done. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think the conversation about art and rights is actually like kind of a really minute and small dialogue. The dialogue right now has to be around privacy, protection of humans. And we probably need to put a group in place that can handle and can be up to speed and advise on this. This is something that is happening so rapidly. I mean, maybe AI needs to make the regulations, but you know, it's time for us to think about how do we protect human rights and human privacy as we rapidly move into the future.
Yeah. And I'd like to pose this question to each of you before we start taking some questions from the audience. What does the future of advertising and creativity look like to you? What predictions do you have? We'll start with PJ.
Unpredictable.
Done. Okay, Sherina.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm always disagreeing with PJ, even though I look up to him so much. I think that it is actually, it is unpredictable, but it is predictable. The future looks like whatever you want to make it. I think that right now, everyone should probably take some ownership and some accountability for shaping the world that they live in, shaping the world that is to come. You have a lot of tools at your fingertips. You have a lot of opportunity right now, and the world is changing faster than ever. Be a part of how it changes and make it a world that you want to live in. In terms of the way that brands are engaging, I would expect that we'll see dynamic NFTs come back into play. We're going to see smart contracts. We're going to see the blockchain being used to help us understand where our food has been, what temperature it's been kept at every single time it's been open before it got to our front door. We're going to be using dynamic NFTs to allow people to have ownership of brands and potentially use smart contracts to update those NFTs in a way that you're getting an evolving playlist. You're getting content that is responding to what the weather is like or what's happening in culture. And these are the ways that we can use these tools. It's just that everyone needs to understand how to use them. I would expect that we see a lot less advertisers and a lot more real people within a decade who are able to own a piece of a brand. And begin kind of creating and making. That is my expectation. And I think that the agencies and the creative entities that are able to kind of understand all of those new opportunities and then present those to brands in interesting ways will be the ones who stay alive. And if you don't get it, then you probably don't get it and just shouldn't be doing it anyway, right? So, yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess what I think what our industry is doing right now with AI is augmenting what we've done. So we're kind of using our systems that are in place, and we're like up in the game on how we work currently, you know, which is cool, and I think that's awesome. But what I'm most interested in is where it will go and the new novel ways of creating experiences and interactions that we haven't yet experienced, you know, and I think that's coming. So I think right now we're in this phase where we're like, okay, this can help me do this and this and this, but we're working with kind of within familiar patterns and a playbook of sorts. But I think the technology is going to totally unleash entirely new things that are pretty hard to predict. But if you see even the latest ChatGPT update, it's like, holy shit, like there is so much you can do with that.
Yeah.
The visual, video recognition and the way you can be colloquial speaking to it, and that API is available. So there's gonna be a whole host of kind of experiences, I'm sure, born straight out of that. So, which will be different. So I guess I look forward to kind of the new, kind of novel, interactive experiences that will be born from all this that we haven't yet seen, but that will come. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Let's hear it for our panelists. And would love to get a couple questions in from our audience while you have the opportunity to pick their brains. Who's got a question? I'm going to sit here until you come up with one. There we go. Oh.
Hello, my name
Hi.
is Malak. Nice to meet you all.
Hi.
So I was just wondering, what AI tool do you use? What app, or is it Midjourney, or are you using it on Photoshop? What do you prefer, and what do you think is the most ethical platform to use that on?
Mm.
Okay, guys, sure, I'll start. So I think the platform depends on your interest, right? For me, generative art and Midjourney was the kind of first way in. It was the way that I immediately developed a shorthand with the machine. I had COVID, was laying in bed, thought, let me see if I can figure this thing out, and off we went. But quickly began to understand the power of Runway being integrated with those Midjourney assets, right, in order to begin animating. Quickly understood the power of ChatGPT. I think, and Will's mentioned audio tools. I think it's just about, what do you want to make? What do you want to make? The tool is there. And ethically, I think we all understand that we should be pulling from a large body of reference, that we should have our own ideas. We should not just be trying to kind of output the machine's work or the work of others. So that's the ethical part, I guess.
The one thing to add as a possibility, if you could work with people from a technology world together with you, as the same way that art directors and copywriters have worked together for a while, just bring the technology people to work with you as well. You can actually do things that are not just using a tool, it's combining and chaining multiple tools. That's when the most mind-boggling things happen. And that's where those are the things that we cannot even imagine that they're out there. And so you think of not only the tool, but combining and chaining multiple tools.
Did you?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. One more question? I'll let read. I saw this hand first. Sorry.
Hello, guys. Hey, PJ. How are you? I have a bunch of students here today. We're from Canada, an advertising program, and we're about to revamp the whole program. What kind of a suggestion you give if you have to create a new creative advertising program that involves AI?
Come back tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
I'll start so they can think about a better answer than what I'm going to give.
I already have an answer.
Yeah, so I think that the most important thing for me for these moments, and especially if I were a student, the thing that would get me that would excite me the most, and probably maybe you don't have a chance to see it because you're new to the industry, is that there has never been a smaller gap between the biggest leaders in the industry and you. Has never been that small of a gap. So that's a big chance to revolutionize the industry. There's somewhere there may be a Bob Greenberg that is going to create an XRGA and is going to change everything. We just don't know who that person is. And so if I were to think about a program, I would be thinking about what is the next thing, how do you create the next kind of agency instead of just retooling the agencies that are out there.
It's a really good question and a hard one. I love that. I mean, starting with that, the opportunity is huge in this space right now. I think some of the themes that we've all touched on that are important are that sense of experimentation, being okay with the messiness and the chaos of the moment, and finding ways to foster kind of like that comfort level in a messy kind of environment that's changing, you know? And I would recommend, like, the thing that's worked really well for us as an agency is those bonfire sessions. So bringing people together, having everyone kind of reach out and kind of learn this technology from different angles and sharing back to one another. I think that human interaction and share back situation is just way more rewarding and interesting, and it just helps me digest this stuff quicker versus having to comb through threads and that kind of thing. And then I think, like, you know, reach out. Also, you know, there's a thriving AI kind of art community that's pushing kind of the boundaries of what this technology allows you to do in interesting ways. So connect with them, you know, connect with communities of people that are creating in this space online. I think that's an important thing to consider as well.
So in terms of creating an advertising school, correct, that is AI focused, it feels like the very first thing you want to do is help everyone understand the breadth of AI opportunities out there, right? So you're not all students are going to work within the same tool sets. You may be more interested in music, you may be more interested in art. So I think that's one place to start. But at the end of the day, what our discipline is about is solving problems, right? Creative solutions to business problems. So what I would say is I would just dial up like to 100 the problem solving. I would start laying out briefs that were not about, oh, just get awareness up of X, Y, and Z, but how do we use sound to heal cancer? How do we create the apostas of a cell with sound? How do we take the data that we've already got or our client already has, and how do we help them, or data that's just in the world and tools that are in the world, and how do we help them present a solution that actually fixes a problem? I think that's the future of our industry. That's where we should go. That's how we should use our creativity. And this is a chance. It's all right there. It's all ready. It's not just about pretty pictures. It's about real solutions that we can action in the world.
I think that's a mic drop. And I think that's all the time we have. I think we're a little over, but this was amazing. Let's hear it for Will, PJ, and Sherina one more time. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Thanks, Sherina. All right. For our second segment, our guests came from Madrid and Buenos Aires, so I want you to give them an extra special welcome. Milton Gonzalez and Valeria Morero are the co-founder and Chief Creative Officers of Not Real. Not Real is an award-winning studio that creates impactful, high-end visual content. They help brands interact with the current world, understanding and transforming contemporary visual trends. They have worked with brands including Google, IBM, Microsoft, Nike, Spotify, Pepsi, eBay, Verizon, Amex, Geico, and Facebook, and they've been recognized for their outstanding work by the Clio's, A-Design, Indigo, and LAD Awards. Here to tell us more about the illusions of success, please give a super warm welcome to Milton and Valeria. Hello. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Well, hello everyone.
Screen? Yes?
Yeah, that's us.
Perfect. So,
Thank you.
hello, my name is Milton. We need this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we need this. Perfect. So,
That's our studio.
back? Yes,
Sorry.
we can start. Perfect. Well, my name is Milton,
I am Valeria. Wow, this is so loud.
and we are not real.
So this talk won't be a recipe on how to succeed, because we believe that success looks different to everyone. And also, like, What is being successful? Does anybody know?
Perfect. Having tons of followers, like our friend Selena here,
For me, it would be like just to be friends with Tai Tai.
of course, winning awards.
One of those, maybe
Yes.
last night. Who won one?
Who don't likes awards? Or getting rich. Who don't likes money?
To buy tons of graphic cards, of
Perfect.
course.
So, our story is not about success. Our story is about facing challenges and transforming opportunities.
Hmm.
We like to think we make things happen.
Yeah.
Like this.
Wait.
We have been like.
Like Adam, you have to teach us.
I'm not actually a dancer, but
Heel toe. So yeah, so we did this project in 16 days. A little while ago, it was a project for Nike that we really enjoyed. We just wanted you to see it. So we had 16 days for the project, to be honest. And we did it, but we were like, why did we do it? It's just only 16 days. So why? Well, just a little bit about this. Who doesn't want to work for Nike? We also wanted to work for Nike. But this was a timeline, just a little bit more than 2 weeks, just 16 days. It was January 2020. And these were the products. I really liked these. These were only for kids. Otherwise, I would have bought a pair of these. I really love the colors, but yeah, I couldn't. And well, we kind of wanted to do something like this. This is a very simple draft animatic that we did. Originally, the request included photos of the product, but we really wanted to like have the product interacting with the bubbles, and it was for National Bubblegum Day. Yes, there's a Bubblegum Day.
yes,
And
that's a thing. It's actually a thing.
It's a thing. But this was a timeline, and we wanted to get the product interacting with the bubbles, so we needed to do the product in CG, then having the bubbles and having everything, and we were like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it anyways.
So going back to the challenges, and what was the challenge here? It was taking the risk and jumping into the project. So we could have done something in 16 days, put it in a drawer to never saw the light, but we were missed the opportunity for growth. So no pain, no gain, and it was painful.
It was painful.
It was painful. Like 16 days was super short for us. But
At the same time, we were already working on this other personal project because we wanted to get into new markets. We wanted to do like different things. So since the beginning of our studio, we're always pushing for self-initiated projects. And this is what we were doing back then. So just a glimpse. So you might be wondering what was the opportunity here. So none, to be honest. There was no opportunity. We wanted to do like get into different products, getting into different markets, but we wanted to push ourselves, to be honest. That was the reason, yeah. So we were looking to build our own opportunities for growth. Yeah, some other style frames from the project. It had a beautiful feedback from the design community. We developed a complete branding. It was just for us, just for fun, doing the CG renders, getting into, combination of how the brand can behave. Yeah, we had lots of fun. And that led us to a different project just a few years afterwards, maybe a year or two.
a year, yes.
Yeah, with a project that had these products. I still really want that Bottega Veneta. The one.
I love the Bottega Veneta.
You know which one is it?
I don't have no idea, but probably one of those.
Yeah, I had these products. I really like that one still.
But going back to the challenges and about this project, it was a short timeline, 5 weeks. It wasn't as short as the Nike one, but it was not enough time. We have to handle a lot of high-end products. That is always tricky. It was a mixed media project, combination in live action and CGI, so it was like doing 2 projects at the same time. We have to direct a remote shooting because COVID was still around. So we live in Madrid, the shooting was in LA, so it was a really long night for us. And the unpredictable fake bag. We were shooting a commercial for authenticity guarantee, and we realized one day before the shooting that one of the Balenciagas was a fake one. We couldn't shoot with the fake one, so when we get the real one, it was like in a different color, so we have to change the color of the set on the go.
Yeah.
So, well, at the end, everything turned out like super well, and this is the final result.
A is for authenticity guarantee. Let's get into it. B is for buy with confidence from brands like Bottega, Balenciaga, and can't forget Chloe. We should also definitely mention Gucci and Goyard. So how about we dive into the details? I is for inspecting the leather, the logos, the chains, the snaps, the zippers. Ooh, wait, let's say that for Z. Just keep your eyes on that little blue check mark. That's how you know it's legit. M is for measuring every last millimeter and whatever smaller than a millimeter because NO detail is too small. P is for Prada. Q is for quality control. R is for easy returns. S is for stitching that's as straight as if Coco sewed it. T is for tags with all the details. U is for unlimited options. V is for Valentino. Ciao. What's left? XYZ. You bet eBay examines your zippers. And that is the A through Z for AG.
You know, Valerie, she actually remembers the complete BO because when we have been working on this, we also were the ones like trying to connect like the script.
The monograms with the copy.
So you know the copy.
Yeah. A is for authenticity guarantee. Let's get into it.
She
B
can
is
go
for
like
private
this
confidence
for-
from brands like Bottega, Balenciaga, and can't forget Chloe.
That was
You
true.
should also DEF. Well, I could go on. But it's a very good exercise for me to like remember the copies because you get to understand what you're working for. You understand the message. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to remember like I do, but give it a try, it works.
Of course. And some of the lessons that we learned from these Fast and Furious projects, the first one is to get organized. Like we put a lot of efforts and thinking and overthinking with people, with our team, the way we work, so we can all together reach the milestone in a super smooth way.
Yeah. The second one is to make the process predictable every step of the way. You don't want to get surprises at the end of the project, and you want your client to understand what you're doing and what would be the next step. So it's always better to get aligned in the beginning and understanding the stages of the process and knowing what is achievable and what you will be doing on the next stage.
The next one is like, quality is not something that you add at the end. It's part of the process, it's connected to the process, and there is not a quality button in the keyboard, at least not right now with the AI and the talk that we have recently.
Yeah.
Probably in the near future, we will have like the...
Make it better.
Make it better, make it quality.
No, for us, it's connected to a good process. A good process leads to a good final result. And then the other one is that we don't strive for perfection, at least not the whole time. It's a good thing to be a perfectionist, but you have to know when to stop in order to reach the milestones, reach the deadlines, which is ultimately the most important thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is another tricky one, to lose control and embrace adaptability. In the beginning, we have, this thing is like we have micromanaging all the tasks and everything. But when we start trusting our team, we grow, that led us to better results.
Yeah. The other one is choose your battles. For us, means to carefully select your projects. As a small studio, we don't do 700 projects a year, so we need to carefully select our projects, knowing what we can do and where these projects are going to lead us. So choose carefully.
So we have short time, so we are going to speed up this
Yeah,
like
a little.
right now.
Yeah.
So invest in our portfolio.
That's the
That's
thing.
the ultimate thing. Like invest in your portfolio. And all that work led us to new opportunities like this one.
Well, we have been working with Microsoft for around 3 years so far. Yeah, just a little bit more.
What are the things that we did for Microsoft?
Well, we have been doing like videos for the release of new apps, lots of them, backgrounds, more backgrounds for Teams. If you use Teams, you've seen it. So brandings, lots of systems in ZG, brandings with CG, systems like UI deconstructed to show digital products, lots of things. Beauty, dreamy workstations, more dreamy workstations, lots of them. Then logo and tags, a lot. Just
a lot of different
A lot
ones.
of them trying to convey
That's my favorite one.
the cakes. Yeah.
And again, we have been working with Microsoft for more than 3 years, and the good thing about like working more than once for a client is just that you start knowing the people behind the brand. And at the end, our clients are people which when we interact, we connect, and we work together to solve a problem.
Yeah.
So that's why for us it's so important to work as a team. We have a beautiful group of human beings and super professionals that we work together in something bigger than us. And beyond directing, we have to run the studio. We are originally from Argentina.
Now located in Madrid.
We're now located in Madrid. You will look at the tapas here.
So our team speaks Spanish, Portuguese, English, and we're learning German, Italian, and English. Still English a lot.
Yes, we are still learning how to speak in English.
So we're 60% women. I'm super proud to say that I try to make women join our team from finance to everything, because we need to create more role models in the industry.
And what about the future? Our studio is 6 years old, and we are aware of the opportunities of growth that we had, and we are super grateful of all the people that were part of our team during all these years.
And we're constantly doing R&D. These are two of the things that we're doing so far. It's just also to get into different markets, trying to see how that works for us and getting used to it, working with things. So always keep on pushing with self-initiated projects. Because growth goes beyond achieving just one good project. It's about your work. It's about the future. It's about the culture that you promote and the way you work and the way you work as a team. So finally, the last thing for us is like, what is being successful? Let's go to the next one. Try to think that you're never there yet. You always have to keep on pushing forward. You always have something else to do. You're always for new milestones and new things. So enjoy the process. Like, just relax. Do the things that you like. Do the things that you trust. Follow your gut. I know it sounds very cheesy in a way, but it's the way it works. And for us, that's what we have been doing so far during the last couple of years. And the result is that we really enjoy working with our team and, yeah, enjoying the people and having something just a little bit bigger than just us.
So thank you so much. We are not real. This is our real.
Amazing.
Thank you.
It's so dreamy and beautiful. We are like, this episode is an extra long episode, which is great, bonus content. But I do want to squeeze in a question that came all of this way. So we'd love to get a question from the audience in for Milton and Valeria.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. They're not. There we go.
We just had a lot of great conversation about AI just before. How do you two think about AI and how it's going to change the beautiful work that you guys do?
Hello. Oh yeah, it's on. Well, we do use AI, mostly ChatGPT, a lot for creating content for presentations. I 100% agree with what was mentioned in the stage, that you don't need an extra time. You just got to getting into your process without having to worry too much about it. It's just like, go and ask the questions, use it. I believe that it's the only way to go. You have to integrate it into your process. We've been like investigating a little into how to implement it into videos and CG, but we're not there yet, to be honest. But I think that it will be a natural evolution. You just have to be comfortable with it and not worry too much. That's the way we see it.
Yeah. I might do one more. That was a pretty quick one. Come on.
Anything.
We can show our dance moves.
Yeah. There we go.
Hi, my name is Levon. Your work is really beautiful. What are some of the tools that you guys use for animations?
Yes, maybe I can jump on this. Like, we use like all of the tools that are all over around. Mostly for CGI, we are using Cinema 4D, and then we use After Effects for the typography and things like that. And also we use Animate. It's Animate right now. It was Flash. It's Animate right now, like for frame-by-frame animation. But we always try to use whatever is the best for the kind of the technique of the kind of project that we need to use. But learn the basics. That's the main thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. You both are brilliant. Thank you. I'll have you take it with you. Yes, thank you. All right, I'm excited to introduce our third segment for today, Francisco de Deus. Francisco is a photographer and creative maker with a knack for idea-driven campaigns. Born in Brazil, where he started his career in 2005, Francisco, his wife, and Chihuahua, Taco, moved to Brooklyn in 2013 and consider it home. While primarily known as a photographer, he uses design, fabrication, and animation skills to approach each project with a unique approach and has collaborated with teams in many different capacities. Francisco is driven to create, execute, and pursue new ideas and ways to make them, always with best craft in mind. Francisco shoots advertising photography and animations for consumer and pharmaceutical brands. And he's created work for Coca-Cola, Amazon, Nike, Facebook, Molson Coors, with agencies like VMLY and R, Mischief, Mullen Lowe, Area 23, Atlantic, New York, to name a few. He's been awarded across all of advertising and photography industries' biggest festivals, including The One Show, Cannes Lions, D&AD, and was named Lurzer's Archive 200 Best Photographers. Let's hear it for Francisco. Hello, Francisco, and welcome.
Hi, Adam.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You really are an advertiser's photographer. Can you tell us a bit about your path to photography?
Well, I like to think of myself like an ad geek.
Yeah.
I love advertising. And it was a little bit of my gateway into photography. I went to school for advertising. And that's when I got in touch with photography and really fell in love with photography. I did a little, I worked for a little bit at ad agencies as an art director, but then, pivoted to really started working with photography through assisting other photographers that I liked the work and really kind of honing that craft. So that's
amazing. You've been in New York for 11 years. What do you love the most about it?
I love the energy. You know, just being here is so inspiring. Like we're around artists and people you admire the work, and that for me is really, it helps me drive my work, helps me like want to do better, and it's just inspiring overall. So that it's like I love it.
Yeah. What do you miss about Brazil?
In the wintertime, I miss the weather.
Yeah.
But, the energy in Brazil is great. We get to go there every year for the end of the year, which is great. We go there and recharge and get together with family and friends. And then come back like with, full batteries to just
Ready to
keep doing it.
pound
Yeah.
the pavement.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I really love about your work is that you're not just a photographer. You're very hands-on in fabrication and the creation of the idea. Where did those skills come from?
I think it's something that came out of necessity through my personal work. I just had these ideas, and many times I just had to figure out a way to fabricate something so that the idea could come to life. YouTube is out there. There's a million ways for you to learn things. So through that, I learned knitting, silicone mold making, woodworking, or plaster casting, and each one of those things I used for projects ideas that I wanted to make come to life.
Yeah.
And it really helps me also on my commission, like when I do work for agencies and clients. Having those skills really helps me to talk to a fabricator or a set designer or a prop stylist, really can geek out on like the textures and what's the best way to do something. So it's really and I love doing it.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, it's super cool. It stands out in your work. Has there been a project that really challenged you, and what was your biggest takeaway from it?
It's a project that I shot for VML. Tamara Lund was the creative producer on it, and she brought me in at an early stage, and I sat down with her and the creatives, and the task was we needed to create and shoot time bombs made of plastic debris that washes up at beaches.
Yeah.
So there was no framework for it. So how can we do this? So we got together, brainstormed. We went to the beach here in New York, 3 different beaches, collected plastic debris that was over there, took it to the studio and created these 3 prototype time bombs with plastic. And that went on into to be a larger project. We had a prop stylist create 18 other sculptures. And so that was, the challenge came from not really having a roadmap for this. But the takeaway was that, sometimes there isn't a roadmap for something. You just go and have to be creative about it as well and just create it.
And the result is spectacular. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
And gross, but in the way that they're supposed to be. How about a favorite project? Do you have one that stands out as a favorite?
So I don't have a favorite project, but I have, because they're,
all your babies.
So exactly. Yeah. But I have favorite parts about them, just doing, whenever when we shot time bombs, it's just having the time to shoot them in studio and be able to look and find the beauty in those things. Like when we're shooting, creating a little, like a desert set to showcase a typeface. That's something that I love. When we're doing like a paper craft city for Amazon, that's amazing. So I really love all these little aspects of the project. I love the process.
Yeah.
And I get mesmerized when I do stop motion animation as well. So I do get mesmerized of seeing these still images turning into motion.
Yeah.
So I'm in awe of the process. So I just love everything about it.
That's great. How would you describe the Francisco de Deus experience, either in final deliverables or in the experience in working with you? What would you say is your stamp?
I like to think of myself as like a creative partner. Whenever I hear an idea and I'm brought into a project, I like to think that I like to make that idea a little bit mine as well, and really kind of think of what's the best way we could do this. How can we take this concept and take it to the next level? What's the process that we're going to do? What are the options that we have? And while doing this, really making sure we're all having a good time.
Yeah.
We have the lists and deliverables and all the things that we have doing these projects, but I was try to make sure that everybody is having a good time, and we're getting our deliverables in. Everybody's happy, and obviously we have amazing work to show for in the end.
Yeah, amazing. As you look ahead, is there any type of project that you'd really love to get your hands on, or any type of work?
Well, I'm always attracted to ideas. And I see, there are a lot of brands that I have super interesting ideas. Like, I love the work that like Liquid Death is doing, so fresh. I love, ideas that are coming from Heinz. But also, really, every time we get to do like creative product still life, we do a project that has, like, we're doing shooting GIFs, or we're building a set to showcase something. Those are always the projects that really give me that drive. Or maybe something different where we're going to drive around looking for restaurants that have the same name. It could be that. So it's really diverse. So
amazing. I'd love to. Well, first, let's give them a round of applause. And I'd love to grab a couple questions from our audience for Francisco. Yes, that was the first hand I saw. Then I'll come over here.
Hi, you said that you pivoted from art direction into photography. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, it came to a point where I figured out that my way of working with advertising would be through photography. As in the same way as, let's say, a copywriter or an art director or a strategist do. So, and I had to, I wanted to do that more. And by being an art director, I would have to dedicate my time into honing that craft. So that was the moment where I had to choose, and I decided to go with photography, essentially.
Amazing. And then there's a question right over here with June. Yes?
As a photographer myself, I'm starting to break into this industry as well. I'm someone who doesn't have a lot of funds to create a little studio to do product photo shoots. I'm working completely out of my dorm room. Did you ever start at this point as well? And if so, how could I grow further into this industry as a photographer?
I think a good way would be to collaborate as much as you can, and find other people that are looking to build their portfolios as well. Stylists that are starting, and then together you could grow and create new images for your books, and that's really also a good way to get things going, because it's all a collaborative effort. So I think that's a good way to start.
Awesome. Do we have one more out there? I thought I saw some hands. There we go.
Hi, my name is Bruno Pironi. I work at Meta, fellow Brazilian. Bom dia.
Bom dia.
So I come from a generation maybe close to yours where beautiful imagery was in print ads, sometimes in magazines that we read, sometimes on archive or out of home. Nowadays, we look at content through here. As a photographer, do you work differently knowing that your beautiful art is going to show up on a screen like this? Do you take any consideration about, maybe how has your style or process changed now that we absorb content through our phones?
I think the main difference in working was really that now the 9:16 format became prime. I feel like back when we started, we used to aim for the double page spread. So horizontal was gold, and now vertical is almost as strong, or if not stronger. So but with that said, I don't think I changed the way I work, it's just a different. It's just the audience has so much more ways to look at your work. So it made it more interesting, So.
Awesome. Cool. I think that's all the time we have. But let's hear it one more time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And folks, that's our show. That's day 3 down. I hope to see some of you at the ADC later tonight. I think this episode was really awesome. Let's hear it for our guests one more time. If they were inspiring to you as they were to me and you're interested in learning more about our community, I hope you'll head over to our website, oneclub.org, and consider becoming a member. Otherwise, we'll see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. where we have another great roundup of guests. Thanks so much and have a great day.
Step into the morning, get ready for the buzz. Adam's on the mic, gonna make you feel the love. We got industry titans, creative community's finest, having insightful talks. It's gonna be the tightest. All up in Wit Studio, we got creative maestros dropping inside and know-how, making your body go now. From your head to your toe, take your hands and go.